Hafa day, everybody, and welcome to the grading policy module. My name is Tina Adekade, and for the next few minutes, I will be going over the grading policy, the newly passed grading policy that is effective for this school year and moving forward until such time that we decide to revisit the grading policy and make any changes. Now, this particular module is going to be specific to kindergarten through 8th grade because in terms of the grading policy, high school does have some differences from the K-8 grading policy. All right. Now, the module itself is going to be broken up into 3 different parts that are in line with our objectives. And at the end of this module, you as the participant should be able to, 1, understand each of the tier levels, which is the first section of the module. The second section of the module is also the second part of our objective, and you'd be able to distinguish the 2 methods to determine the final or composite grade for your students. And then the last section and final part of the objective is to understand the criteria for the citizenship or life readiness skills grade. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the first part of the module and of the grading policy, and that's understanding the tiers. Now, this shouldn't be too different from last school year. We've already experienced it, but there are some slight differences this year that we'll focus on in terms of the grading policy. So for progress reporting periods, it is still going to be quarter 1 and quarter 3. So keeping that in mind, just remember that the progress report periods are point-in-time snapshots for the semester and not a summative grade. So we're looking at whatever skills that you are trying to teach within the semester. It's okay if you're a little slower the first few weeks, and maybe you were thinking you're going to get 3 skills in for the first quarter. However, you weren't able to. You have until the end of the semester, so that gives you some latitude there. But again, quarter 1 and quarter 3 are progress report periods, and we are still utilizing the pass, the no evidence, and the no grade. Okay, we may not necessarily be experiencing the no grade because most students hopefully will be face-to-face now, but again, that option is still there since we're not clearly completely out of the COVID situation. With this being said, I want to point out that your administration does have the discretion to allow or require tiered grading to be reported for the progress report period. That means that instead of using the P, NE, or NG, your administrator may decide that the school is going to just be using the tiered grading and not these particular markers for the progress report. If you do use the P, NE, and NG, you will have to override. There's kind of no way around that. And so just kind of keep that in mind. There's pluses and minuses to this progress reporting grades. If you just have that you just have that pass for the students, that might be sufficient for the parents. If you're using the tiered grading, while that's great and it gives a clearer picture, keep in mind that that grade may go down at the end of the semester just based on what the student can or cannot do. Okay, but just things for you to think about as you make your decisions as a school. Okay, now going into the actual tiered grading, we now have 6 levels, and this is going to be a standard-based grading system that we are utilizing. Again, quarter 1, quarter 3 were progress report periods. So final grades are your quarter 2 and quarter 4, which is your semester 1, semester 2 grades. This is where we're going to have to, again, there's no choice for this. You will be using the 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 or the NE. We added the 0 into this particular tiered scale here and just kind of going through it. 4 is exceeding the standard, 3 proficient, 2 approaching proficiency, and 1 needing support, 0 unable to perform, and NE when you have no grade or no evidence. When you're talking about exceeding the standard, this simply means that in addition to being proficient, right, and demonstrating an understanding and mastery of your standard, the content, knowledge, and skills, the student themselves goes beyond what is explicitly taught and is able to apply the standard or skill to real-world situations. When a student is proficient, they demonstrate an understanding and mastery of the standard content, knowledge, and skills. This is where we want all of our students to be. That's the goal. We want all of our students to at least be in that level 3. We are going to have some students who are in level 2, and we are going to have some students that are in level 4. But again, we want all of our students to be proficient at the standard that we are teaching. Level 2, approaching proficiency. It's defined as the student is able to define and identify content, knowledge, or use skills alone, but needs help demonstrating a full understanding of that standard. Okay. When a student is at a level 1, they need support, and that is determined that even with help, the student has difficulty performing basic skills or defining the content, knowledge, and is definitely well below the grade level standard. When a student is at a level 0, they are unable to perform, and this is defined as even with significant help, the student is not able to perform any of the basic skills or define any of the content, knowledge. So again, we know that they're definitely well below grade level at a level 0, obviously. Now, with the grading policy, we also have the NE, which is your no grade, no evidence. These are for the students who have no work, or there's not enough work that's submitted to make a final determination. So students who usually got zeros in this instance, they are no longer going to be getting the zeros because they are not turning in the work, so you're not able to determine what it is that they're able to do or not do. So again, gone are the days where we're going to say, oh, if you don't turn this in, you get a 0 in my grade book. You now get an NE. So it really will show the parents and even the student that I can't even, I'm going to be fair about this, that if you don't turn it in, I can't tell whether you know the skill or you don't know the skill, or what level you are at the skill. Okay. Now it's important to note that with these particular levels, that you also have increments of a 0.5 that you can utilize, which will recognize partial mastery of a level. So when you're entering your grades into the Power Teacher Pro, you could give a student conceivably say that they're at a 2.5, right? Where, gosh, they're almost there, but they still kind of are unsure of themselves in terms of demonstrating that skill. So you kind of have to help them out a little bit. You can give them a 1.5. And that's one of the biggest differences, aside from adding the 0 into this tier. You can do the increments of 5 that can be plugged into your grade book. Okay, so with that being said, this is the end of the first section. Those were the tiers, and then I will see you in the next section, in which we will go over how to actually give your final and composite grades. Okay, thank you. I'll see you in a little bit.